Well, hello, everybody. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello. Y'all
Hey,
come on
y'all.
in. Come on in. This is Girl Talk, Book Talk, Girl Hurt No More 24 or GHNM 24. Try to say that fast.
That was
Edition. We are coming to recap Girl Hurt No More. So come on in. I know y'all are with your families. I know you are still probably Easter egg hunting. Let them kids handle that. Y'all come on in, grab your phone, grab your notepad, whatever you got to do, but come on in the room. And you can't just come on in the room. You got to hit that like button, hit that love button, and you got to share. Listen, we got Girl Talk on here today. Now, these women shouldn't be guests to any of y'all. I'm gonna just show my little picture again. This ain't even the right picture. Oh, I can't show that one. Shauna, kill me. We got new branding. I can't show that old picture. But these aren't new women, okay? Because if you went to Girl Hurt No More 23, and if you went to Girl Hurt No More 24, all of these women should look familiar. Okay, so let me backtrack. So Girl Hurt No More 23, we had Aisha Wright and we had Alexia Robinson as speakers. All right. So Aisha say hey. And then Aisha, last year you did what? No more. What was yours?
That was this year, no more.
Oh, so what was last year? Unforgiveness?
Mm.
No. You don't even remember. Lex, what did you
It
have
only
last
takes
year?
one seed. I know that was
I
the
had
topic.
unforgiveness.
Mm.
Unforgiveness last year.
Unforgiveness. And Aisha, you don't remember yours?
Nope.
She's just so focused on this year. But Aisha came back this year and Aisha did no more barrenness. Okay. And then Jamel did no more bitterness. And Ashley was on our panel because she is an original Girl Talk Book Talk moderator. Yet she was a guest. Now she's a moderator. And so we brought her back because she was in the conference also with our panel that we had on Friday morning, right,
Yes,
Ashley?
that was
All
Friday
right.
morning.
Friday morning. So look, what we need y'all to do, ladies, is engage with us. First of all, say hey. Y'all, we ain't sleep with y'all. Hey, friends. Hey, sis. Let us know you are here. Go ahead and type our favorite phrase. What's our favorite phrase? Y'all know what our favorite phrase is.
I got you, sis.
I got you, sis. So if you are here, if you are on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, go ahead and type in the chat, I got you, sis, and join us. We are also asking that you go ahead and type in your questions that you may have, your comments about the conference. Even if you didn't come to the conference, I'm sure you were friends with somebody that went and you saw the pictures and you heard the testimonials. So jump in the chat and share those with us as well, okay? And we're gonna share those. Hey, Ashley said, "Hey, I got you, sis." That's what I'm talking about. Jump in that chat. Let us know you are here with us. All right, so ladies, first thoughts. And this goes for not only the ladies on this podcast, but ladies, if you are joining us online, first thoughts. GHNM24. What's your first thoughts?
All I got is like, wow. That's it. It was
Wow.
literally just it was wow.
Okay.
I walked out of every one of the sessions saying wow. And then Friday night was just a double wow.
Ooh, we can't jump to Friday night yet. We're
Yeah.
gonna wait. We gonna come back to that. We gonna come back to that. All right. Wow was Ashley's. Jamel, what's your one word? If you can come up with one word.
Because I was going to say, I need three words.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to say he did that. He meaning God.
Ooh,
He
he
did
did
that.
that.
He did
Yes.
that.
I'm gonna type
Yeah.
that
Okay.
in.
I liked it.
Wow. I like that. Okay, God did that. Okay. All right.
He did a big
Aisha,
one.
what's your one word?
I guess I would say confirmation
All right. Why?
because even being a facilitator, as I was able to this year attend the other sessions, a lot of what God was revealing to me in my prayer time prior to my session, and I was the last one. we were saying a lot of the same things. He was revealing a lot of the same things, which
Mm.
shows that we were in the right rooms. It shows that
Ooh,
we were um he was feeding the same people the same thing. It was
yeah.
definitely confirmation. He was really trying to get some things to the women that were attending this conference. It truly
Yes,
was.
I agree. Lex, what's your one word or phrase? Because Jamel couldn't get just one word. So what's your one
Yeah,
word
he did.
to
I
recap
would say
Hurt No More 24?
powerful.
What is it?
It was powerful.
Yes,
It was
yes.
very there was a lot of power. You could tell that you all had been praying for a move of God, and it was powerful. It was, I don't know, there's no other word to me.
Yeah, I love it. Powerful. I agree. I was talking to someone today after church, and she said, I just got to thank you again, she said, for the conference, because she was reluctant to come, not because of what, some of the comments, and we'll get to that, some of the comments that we heard during the conference of other people's reluctancy. Hers was personally, she is battling depression.
Mm.
And she didn't think that she would come to a conference and really get real tools that she needed. She felt like, I'm going to come, I may feel good, but I'm going to leave here kind of the same way. And I don't know how to deal with what I'm going through, because, so why even go? But she said she's so glad she fought off the devil that was trying to hold her back, because she really is changed by it. And for me, Girl Hurt No More 23, the one word I would say would be changed.
Mm.
This word, um, um, okay, in expectancy. So it's not just one word. I'm in expectation because I know God is doing something and it's about to hit. And so that would be my two words, my phrase. I'm in expectation. Last year, I totally changed. Again, y'all know my story. I quit my job, started this whole faith walk. This year, I'm in expectation and I'm believing God. I truly am believing God. So, ladies that are joining us, when you come on in, drop your one word or your phrase that kind of describes Girl Hurt No More 24 for you. What phrase, what one word resonates with you? All right, so let's talk about it, ladies. Let's jump to Thursday night. So the committee did a really good job. Before Thursday night, the committee members, we have two on here. We purposed that we were going to kind of go through our own healing process before we even kind of helped other or held other women's hands as they went through. And so we worked with Amber, the educator, to really go through our own process. And in that, one of the things we learned, I think I shared this Thursday night with the ladies, is in order to really facilitate true healing with women, especially, we've got to bond. We've got to have some common themes. We've got to have some common things that we can relate to so that we can bond together. So the committee tried to be very intentional about the things that we were doing, the atmosphere that we were setting, the whole environment. Okay. And so I'm hoping that it came through with the women. So let's talk about Thursday night, because that was our first night doing anything like that sisterhood night. And so let's share, those of us that were able to make it Thursday night. What are your thoughts regarding Thursday night?
I thought Thursday night was absolutely beautiful. Um, you seen women just it was full of women. That was the night that we had the most that actually attended, and it was wall to wall with women. When she asked us to break up, hold hands around the sanctuary, like it was completely full around the sanctuary. I think that women came in with one thought but left with something else. Initially I heard a lot of like, oh, we gotta do something, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And I began to explain to them, work, shop. We're trying to do the work. This is the beginning. Work, shop. And I do think that they left with a whole nother expectancy of what Friday and Saturday was going to be, because whether they realize it or not, it was bringing them together because the different stations allowed them to work together. But then at the same time, it was individual as well.
Yeah. And
I
so,
wasn't.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't there on Thursday, but I could tell when I walked in on Friday that something had happened on Thursday, because the way that everybody had bonded together on
Yeah.
Friday, and everybody was already looking out
Yeah.
for each other on Friday.
Yes.
It was very much different than what we experienced on our first day on last year in
Yeah.
23. It was
Yeah.
different.
It was different.
The atmosphere on Friday was, in the morning time, it had
Yeah.
already
Yes.
shifted
Yes.
from, from previous.
Yeah. Like, I agree with you. Jamel, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I think Thursday night gave everybody a chance to break down barriers. So like
Yes.
coming in, sometimes people think, okay, this is a conference, it's at church. Like, what is this gonna be about? Is somebody gonna be preaching at me? But Thursday night gave everybody to like be human,
Yeah.
right? When we did the step in the circle activity in the sanctuary, like that
Mm,
right there, because it just showed like people's vulnerability and people were
mm,
comfortable. So even if they did come in like, okay, what is this going to be? And their barriers or their walls were up, it gave you a chance to kind of break that and just know like somebody's dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with. This person going through, dang, you going through that too? Okay, like that's what's up. And I think it made people a little more comfortable for the remainder of the weekend.
And I love that in that step in the circle activity. It was women of all ages, right? You had from almost 16, I think was our youngest, all the way up to almost 80 years old. And when they stepped in the circle, they were stepping in the circle for similar things. That's what I found like, wow, like even at 78 and a 16-year-old have this in common that they both need to heal from. Like that was powerful to me. I love the fact that we had stations. So one was the paint and praise, or praise and paint, kind of like trap and paint. Okay. But it was our praise and paint version. But I like how Aisha and Nelly did that spin on it, because they took the yellow dress boutique, and these women had to create their own dresses, right? Aisha, yeah, they had to create their own dresses. And it was so interesting watching them draw and explain the dresses that they made. Now that was powerful. And then we had the what is it? The escape room.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's the one that was mine, and I was just so excited about it. But them women got out of that escape room way too early. I was like, man, I just needed them to be trapped a little bit longer. Like,
You tried to trap people and you couldn't even be successful at it. They was like, no, ma'am.
no, I
It's
mean
because they
no,
bonded together.
but that's it. They did it together. And because
Yep.
their groups were so large, like they were able to get the clues fast. And I tried to hide the keys and all of this other stuff. And them women got out that thing and was waiting for the
Now
other
the
ones.
one
But
on the umbrella, I think the key on the umbrella, I was like, where's that? Because it
I
was
had to
hidden.
hide it because I'm
That
just like,
was hidden. Yes, yes.
they finding it way too early. And then the last one that was funny to watch was the gospel charades. Listen, them women so competitive. They was so competitive. I mean, yeah, y'all cheating over there. And then they had this one helping each other. But all of that kind of brought it all together. Let's talk about the puzzle at the end.
Oh,
What were your impressions about because so people that weren't there, every woman got a puzzle piece, and that split them into their groups. And we told them, hang on to your puzzle piece, because you're gonna have to put it together later on. And we talked about how everyone is a piece of someone else's puzzle.
Mine.
And so that means you are important, you are significant. And so in the end, they all got together back in their same groups, and they put their puzzle pieces together. So thoughts on the puzzle activity?
what I found was interesting is even though that the groups were bigger, larger groups, um, you could literally see the leaders in the group kind of take over, and they were really bonding together to put it together, put the puzzle pieces together to create the picture. But you could really see, kind of, like I said, the leaders come out, and then those that are just kind of watching, like to see what was happening, what they were doing, how they figured it out. And I thought that was very interesting because each one had their own kind of way of doing it. Some of them that you thought wouldn't do it were the ones who kind of got on that floor and like, let's put this thing together. So I
Yeah.
thought that was very interesting. I thought that was really, really interesting.
It was dynamic. One group couldn't find a puzzle piece, and they were distraught because they were like, no, if we miss this one piece, we're not whole. When I heard them say that, I was like, oh my Lord, I don't think y'all realize how that touched me, because doesn't that means so much when it comes to sisterhood. Like
Right.
if I need a sister in this area and that part is missing, I'm not whole. God, I need you to make me whole. And often, even in the Bible, he made women well, but there was one woman he said, now you're whole. And I was like, oh God, that's
Come on.
powerful. And how many of us are walking around, we're well, but are we whole?
Come on, God.
Okay.
You know, especially some of us, I don't need nobody, girl, or whatever. I'm done with you.
Yeah.
You know, Alexia's favorite friend, you're dead to me. It was her favorite
Oh
friend.
God.
I hope it's not that anymore, Lex, right? It's not that anymore. You're on mute. It's not that.
I've been delivered. I've been delivered.
That's
She
her
been
favorite.
No more
delivered.
unforgiveness. No more unforgiveness.
Right.
I'm here.
Amen.
Because she will quit. You're dead to me. Okay. But no, how often are we settling for being well when we really could be whole if we develop some solid sisterly friendships? So let's talk about that. What does a solid sisterly friendship look like? What should it feel like? What should it look like?
Trust. And I
Okay.
think a lot of that came with what you did in those activities. You had to be able to trust that somebody who had that puzzle piece was willing and capable of being able to put you where you needed to be. So
That's good.
I think that has a lot to do with it, is trust.
I like that. Someone else. What does this sisterly bonding thing look like? What should it look like?
I think she honed in on it when she said trust, like, because we go through our own like individual issues, our own individual trials, but to be able to, so what I'll attach to it, trust and willingness, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's good.
Oh, she called out. She was
Jamel.
about to give us. Oh, she got to come right back in. She was about to give
Yeah.
us that truth. Oh, come on,
Um,
Jamel. Go ahead, Lex.
I would say to that trust, there's this saying that, my sister brings all the pieces of me and puts them all in the right order. And I think that goes with trust. Like I can trust my sister with all these parts of me, all of my good parts, all of my bad parts. And she only reflects the best in me. Like she's going to pull out the best parts of me and give me the whole picture. Like I might be fixated on this one thing and she's going to bring the missing piece. She's going to say, you're not this, you are that. You're not broken, you are healed. You're not in this barren place. God is actually birthing something in you in this season. So my sister is going to kind of fill in those missing pieces for me.
I like that. So a sister should fill in some gaps that you have in your life.
Right.
Right? She should be that missing puzzle piece, that thing that you've been praying for and asking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I was dealing with something on yesterday and it came to like sisterly things. And it was where I asked, some other people like, hey, is this sisterly thing real? And how do we ensure it stays real and it stays fresh? So I like the fact that you all brought up trust. I like the fact that Jamel even brought up willingness, because we've got to be willing to allow somebody to come in our little space. Because sometimes as women, we've been hurt, we've been mistreated. And we don't want somebody to come up in our space, I don't know about that. Somebody on Instagram says transparency, accountability, and godly support.
Wow.
That's good.
Oh, that's good.
Transparency, accountability, and godly support. I need you. Listen, first of all, and this is what let me just tell the people here. Before we got on here, I told them one thing: we got to be real with the folk. I can't stand putting up a facade. I can't stand fakeness. We gonna be real with the folk, and if they can't handle it, they always got that scroll button, or they can just click off of it. But we gonna be real. So I need friends that's gonna be real with me, okay? Transparent with me. Don't always tell me, girl, yeah, that's cute, and then we go out and I look a hot mess. Girl, why you ain't saying nothing? Look, y'all, let me make y'all laugh real quick. So y'all see my nice curls, right? Y'all see my curls, and I love my curls. Well, the process to getting these curls was me getting, and they should look in the, I'm gonna tell y'all how these sisters did me. The process to getting these curls, man, I had to get, what's the thing? What is called?
Rod?
The little rod thing, the straw.
Yeah.
The pipe cleaners.
Pipe cleaners.
Yes.
So my beautician, my loctician, had to put the pipe cleaners all around my hair, right? So I figured I'd get it done. I think I got it done maybe Tuesday, maybe, and I had them in until Thursday. Now my plan, well, I was even thinking that it didn't look that bad, and maybe I could wear it that way Thursday night. Well, these two sisters, Nelly and Aisha, immediately, girl, what's that in your head? Girl, you look like Celia. Girl, take that out. I was like, wait a minute. They're like, girl, that ain't it. That ain't it, sis.
Okay, she back. She back.
Oh, hold on.
My computer restarted. My bad.
No, you fine. That was the devil, because you about to drop some dimes.
I was on the live, so I was listening to y'all.
Okay, go ahead and drop them dimes now. You were talking about willingness and trust.
And what was the question? Because I listened. What was it? And I said willingness, but what was the original question?
What do we need to create this sisterly bond that we're talking about?
Yeah, so like willingness. So being open, right? So going back to definitely like that Thursday night, I just saw a willingness of the women. So, and I know Aisha, I think Aisha or Ashley, one of y'all said trust, right? And opening up with trust. And when you trust in people, you also have to be willing to share your truth and be willing to be vulnerable. So at that point, I really saw a lot of that night, and the fact that people were trusting in the fact that in my vulnerability, right? And I open up and I can share. When we did that whole circle event and everything, I know that what I share here is not going to be taken out. No one's going to look at me different. No one's going to judge me for what I've been through. And now I can use that to connect with somebody else, because you done been through the same thing. And here I am holding, my whatever to myself. But sometimes when you see other people and you're like, dang, you done been through that too. Like, it makes you feel a little bit better about going through your process and your healing.
I like that you said it's a process, because oftentimes we just think this is permanent, and it might be just a stepping stone to what God is about to take us to.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have this testimony to even be able to share, like you did share with your bitterness session, which we about to get into it. We got to talk about some things now. We got to talk about some things. Okay, so yes, I agree with everyone. And so you do have to have transparency. You got to have people that's going to tell you the truth. You got to have people that's not always going to be your yes sisters or yes men. Yes, that's not yes. That no. I need some opposing views. I need some other perspectives, because I'm not always right. And if you got friends that's always telling you you're right, they're wrong. You need some better friends. Can we just say that? So that was all in part of what we want to do. And you know what stuck with me the whole weekend was the Count on Me song. And the Lord dropped it on me days before and was like, just keep playing that Count on Me by Whitney Houston. And that thing stuck with me throughout the entire weekend and even after. And, my sons were there. They were working the sound system and then the computer screen. And even they were like, Ma, just seeing those women coming together and then that song playing, Ma, that was something. They didn't know how to articulate it. They just was like, that was something, Look, Ashley hit us with something. She said, listen, I looked around that room like 50 to 11 times before I shared. Truth. Okay.
Okay.
And she said, I have purpose to not share anyone's personal info. Me too. Not even with fellow worship attendees. Oh, now let's talk about that. Okay, we're going to get that. She said, I've just prayed that others have done the same. I have to get this stuff off of me. Not
Right.
off of. Listen, Ashley, we are right here with you. Now that she brought up a good point because just because you in the session with me doesn't mean we need to talk about it together
Come on.
and say like, oh, did you know this one did this? You know she going through that. I didn't even know she was going through, because now that's gossip.
Uh-huh.
And that's why people don't want to share in the first place. That's exactly why they didn't want to share. Right?
That vulnerability comes in. You have me at my most vulnerable spot, and then you want to take it and run it somewhere else. That's not sisterhood. That's not what it was meant for. That's not what it should be used for.
No. Even if we were there together, you still don't need to be talking about it outside of the safe environment that we created in that space. Like, no, let's not do it. And I think as women, we got to kind of, in a loving way, pull our sisters aside and call them out on that. Like, sis,
accountability.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that. You know, let's not do that. Okay. Because then nobody's gonna want to share. So I love that. So Friday and Saturday, y'all, we had workshop sessions. All right. Let's talk about any and all workshops. Let's just put it out there, because we did talk a lot about Friday's workshop, because we even had a girl talk, book talk that day. So let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it. Bitterness. Listen, can I say, Janelle, that you, first of all, I didn't know my testimony was even your testimony, and that your testimony was mine. My mama say, y'all got the same testimony. I say, for real, like, for real, we just got different names. Girl, when I tell you that took a whole left turn and we just let the Holy Spirit do what he do.
Yeah.
Did that.
We just let him do
that.
And I think so many women weren't expecting what they got and left there like,
I literally had to walk outside and was like, hold up, God, like, I need to check myself, because this girl is really talking.
It was like, am I bleach? Am I bleach?
Good. Listen.
When she said, you gotta explain it. You gotta explain it. The folk don't know. The folk don't know what bleach is.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so but I'm gonna start with this, because when Humani called, right, and was like, hey, I want you to participate, I was like, okay, right. So I see all these people who've done it, and I'm like, these like apostles, like ministers, like,
not me.
Then it's just me. You on that level too, but I put you on that level too. I put you on that level too.
No, Aisha's a minister.
Right. So I had to, like, I legit had to pray, because like I'm reading a book and I'm like, okay, well, God, show me, right? Show me what I need to share, because I just don't know where to start. Like, I've never ministered like that before, or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I want to be authentic and I want to be real, but whatever you give me to share, let it help somebody else, right? Remove me and let me just be honest and do whatever you need me to do. So as I'm reading, like, God was like, yeah, nah, you need to just I done brought you through some things. Like, you literally were bitter. Like, you were bitter, like bad. I was like, okay, but I'm at a point in my life now that I can share it. So to the cup activity, what we did, we had like the different cups of water, but I added a different substance to each cup. And within the cups, the easiest one, it was supposed to be for people to identify, like, connected to bitterness, right? And so when some people are bitter, you can see it on them. You be like, man, I don't even want to deal with you. Okay. Like, she mean, she angry, she this. That's what the red cup stood for. The cup of, like, we added, it was water, but we added red food coloring to it. So it was obvious. But when you got to the other substances, like we added salt to one was vinegar, one was bleach. When you add the different substances, sometimes you can't see the impact of your bitterness and how it can hinder other people. So when you drink salt water, it's like, it's a little, a little zesty or whatever. But that, that bitterness people can catch on to really quick. But it's when you get to things like the vinegar and the bleach, to it's where like people can't really see it. But when it came to the bleach added to the water, if someone were to take a sip of that, they would be out. But it's the same thing with our bitterness. So sometimes our bitterness can impact others greatly. But then what I also thought about, listen, because I told my pastor, right, that my friend asked me to participate in all the things. So then Thursday night, he was like, oh, boom, I want you to talk about that in Bible study. And you're going to lead Bible study Thursday. For real.
And you did an amazing job.
You
So I
did.
was like, for real, Dr. Barnes. But what God brought to me was sometimes when people are bitter, my bitterness may not impact me as greatly, but if it seeps into other people, they may not get a chance to reel anything back in. And if they die in their bitterness, hence the bleach, if you drink bleach water, you out of here. But if they die in their bitterness, like they don't get a chance to resolve it. And you know that could send them one or two places, right? Their soul for all eternity. But then that blood is also on your hands.
Come on, you
because you allowed it to seep into other people. So I was like, you know what? So, and it's a process.
Just throw the whole cup away.
Like it's a process.
Whole cup away.
Okay, the whole cup. Like get rid of it for real. Because when you think into it, you really have to go through and say, well, God, if I am bitter, and that when I did share, my whole piece and my testimony and things I've gone through, like I really had to pray about it. But God was like, no, baby, you was bitter, like bitter. And it's like my mom was like, no, you were like real bad. She was like, because your mouth was like ridiculous. Like you hurt my feelings a couple of times.
Can we talk about our mouths while we bitter?
Let's go. Go ahead. Go. Say that.
Because I think it's more deadly than the bleach, if you ask me.
It can be now.
It can be. It can be.
You spit in the venom and you don't even realize that you spit in venom. So
venom, that's it. That's that bleach.
Yeah, like once you spit on somebody, like
that is the bleach.
That's the bleach. Because you don't see it. But if you get me to the right place, right? It just comes out. It just comes out. And then everybody gone. Okay.
I remember I didn't know I was bitter, and I said this thing to this girl, and Jamel better not flinch when I say, I ain't gonna even say exactly what I said to her because I will not repeat it. But I said this thing to this girl because she had made me so mad, and I just so I knew what to say to her to cut her to the core. And I said that thing, and when I tell you that thing haunts me till this day. And I have to constantly ask God, forgive me, Lord. Because I knew what to say to really, and we as women do that, y'all. We will sit back quietly and like Ashley said, it's venom. We'll sit back, okay, I ain't gonna say that. And we do it just like this. I ain't gonna say nothing.
All right.
I ain't gonna say that. And then when that moment arises and that
person, they keep on.
They keep on. They keep on. You
they
like
keep on.
You gonna get it. You might.
You gonna get what you're looking for.
You gonna get what you looking. But see that right there, I didn't realize that's bitterness.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
That's that bleach.
That's that bleach because that'll kill you.
That bleach.
Because
you don't see it. You don't always know. You forget that it's there, but then somebody come and they stir it up. Even with the salt, like the salt settles to the bottom, right? So you can look at the water and you don't see it because the salt has settled. But then somebody comes and stirs you up. And now, I'm back. See, I thought I had got rid of it. I thought I was over it, but you just stirred it back up.
Come on.
And so I'm not clean.
Can we really heal from bitterness?
Absolutely.
I think you got to get rid of your bitter cup, right? You got to really address the things that have made you bitter because it is always going to be there. It doesn't just go away. Like it could settle. It could not have a sin anymore. But, if the right person comes, it's back.
That comes with real healing though. Too, because we have to be able to heal from those people. And I say that because the Lord, He gonna always bring them around. It's a test, right?
Say that.
Great will always be around.
Constantly in your
Right.
face, right? And he knows the trigger. And sometimes they know what the trigger is too.
And they
But
do.
like we were saying, it's always somebody watching you to see
Yeah.
how
Mhm.
you are going to respond.
Yep.
So healing from that is me not giving you the time of day out loud. Now in my head, I might be giving it to you on the inside of my head, and then that's where I gotta go back, right? And I gotta go
Right.
back and deal with me. I gotta go back and deal with that piece of the healing.
Yeah.
But you won't get the
Mhm.
satisfaction of knowing that
Right.
that's where you had me at. Because baby,
Right. Right.
You know, I
keep
think
them in your
some of
face.
this comes to um being always cognizant
Yes.
of your triggers, number one.
Right. Right.
Always being cognizant of you, what you know God is working on in you, your insecurities, your, like we said, that bitter cup that you still hold, those things that you're asking God to heal from. I think it's always coming with an awareness of that. Because as I look back, I made that statement to that young girl because I was in a hurt place. She was in a relationship with someone that I knew was unfaithful, but yet was she didn't look at that person as an unfaithful person. And I had just gotten out of a relationship with someone that cheated on me. And so I didn't really know what was going on in her relationship, but I want you to be just as unhappy as I am. And the fact that you keep coming around and keep pushing my buttons, and okay, well, I'm gonna push some button that I know is gonna prick you real hard. And here I am, bleach, and didn't even know. I'm just poisoning people, as Ashley said. She was poisoned. I'm just poisoning people because I know what your triggers are, and I know what mine are, and I'm not trying to work on really getting mine out. Like Ashley said, it's all about really true healing from certain things.
Right.
And I think it comes with acknowledgement. You got to acknowledge that you are hurt about certain things.
Right.
But you wouldn't be able to acknowledge that if you didn't know. Hence the bitterness. The session that she did. A lot of, like I said, I had to look at myself like, wait a minute, because thank God, this for me. Because I did. You have a lot of people you don't know. You know, you don't know.
Do we really not know? Because if a person walks in a room and it changes our attitude, it changes our thought. They're controlling us. There's something that's there.
Yeah.
We may not know to label it bitterness,
Right.
but we know that there is something there, and that's an
Right.
issue that needs to be addressed. So we know.
Yeah.
I think some things are not just connected to a person. It is connected to the spirit, right? Like this is something that's in you because somebody else could do it and it's going to create the same reaction.
Yes, it'll trigger you. Yep.
That's true now.
Well, that's good right there, Lex. That's a good
true.
one.
Look, Ashley again. Look, I love Ashley. Ashley on this thing with us, Ashley.
She's ready.
We are so deep into ourselves that we don't have a true view of what's outside of us. We are so consumed and so selfish to just be worried about what we got going on and not think about how we are poisoning and damaging other people.
Right.
Listen, that whole cup situation,
that was
really
deep. That's deep.
You know what I thought you were gonna do? I thought you were going to use the red dye, put it in there because I've seen this
right.
and put the bleach in there and show how he washes us clean.
Oh no!
When you said
that's what I thought she was gonna do, she was gonna clear out. And then no, you just
it's different levels to it.
It's undetected. You can't always see it.
Like Ashley said too, because I it's an ongoing process. Because I recently had an interaction with a person, right? And when I interacted with them, I knew like I had to pray, all the things that happened in the past. But when I saw them, it's like I was fine, but something hit me deep down inside, and I was like, but God was like, correct your face, get your face together, make sure you speak. But I had to go back and repent because even in my head, like she said, in my head, I was like, ooh, I remember.
Yeah.
Even though I hadn't seen that person in almost 2 years. But when
I ain't forgot, no. I ain't forgot.
It triggered it. And it's like the devil was like stirring it up in me.
Yeah.
And God was like, let's
That's
Shut
so.
your mouth. Be quiet. And I had to go back. I had to pray because I'm like, I'm trying to overcome these things.
Yes, I thought I was done with it.
Moving past this. And at this point, I don't want, when I see individuals, I don't want things to be stirred up in me. I don't want to walk around with it. So it's a constant prayer. It's a constant, movement and transition through it.
But
So
you just said you didn't want it. See, some of us got to get to the point where we don't want the bitterness in us now.
Yeah.
You talked about that willingness earlier. Some of us are just perfectly fine snapping on people. Like, I ain't forget. And
I said what I said.
this is my time.
Y'all talking real. I'm telling y'all, this some real stuff because, honey, I had to say I wasn't willing to let it go just yet until I got my get back.
I got to get. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him.
Right where you stand.
I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him.
Right. So you have to be willing. And I had, like you, I had to say, Lord, forgive me. I was right at church, baby. Come here.
So I can't say, Lord, tell me what to say because I'm gonna get them. Lord, give me the words because I got to get them.
That's how we're
I have to say, God, just shut my mouth.
Yeah.
Even though I may be trying to say the right thing, He's just going to work in me. So
no, I told God, I got to gather them up, God. Give me the words because I got to gather them. No, God's not going to give me those words. God's not going to give me the words.
But does this come to a trust in God too? Let's talk about that.
Oh yeah,
because
that's real.
Do we really trust God if we feel like Medea? Okay, I'm gonna say this again. How she said, Dr. Phil was saying, why do you feel you always have to get someone back? She's like, well, because if they got me, I got to get them back. Then they got to get the guy back. And so I always feel that way. And then the Lord convicted me, like, do you really trust me?
Right.
That I got you. And that you don't have to worry about getting them back because I've already taken care of that. Now I may say, oh, okay, you took care of that guy. Okay, so you gonna get them canceled, so they gonna die, so their marriage gonna fail because they mess with me. Like, don't
listen.
Okay.
That be
Sometimes
deep.
we think like that.
Sometimes it depens on how deep somebody hurt you or somebody how bad somebody you.
And you want
have them thoughts, and you have to be like,
prayers. I want the same thing that they did to me. I want it done to them. So when you say you got me, God, that means you gonna handle them the way
you gonna get them. Yeah.
And sometimes he's like, no, not at all. Like,
right now, right? He be like, nah.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
I just had this conversation last night.
Okay.
My brother-in-law was saying something happened, and he said, I put a prayer on them. And I said, you did? You asked God to bless them? He said, oh no. I said, what? And then I said, well, he said, no, I asked God to give them back what they gave me. And
Lord,
and I kind of, it took me aback for a minute before I could really say anything because, as Jamel said, God shut our mouth first.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, God, you gonna give me the words to, to minister, or am I just supposed to shut my mouth and walk back in this house? Like, what is it that we're supposed to do? Because it's real. It's real that we want a person to feel like they made us feel.
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely real. And then are we always like, okay, and then we got to be reminded of what God said, what actually is saying, that vengeance belongs to the Lord. So it takes us bonding together as sisters, like, because I have that thought, you know what I'm saying? But then my sister got to remind me, like, come on now, don't do that.
Oh, Ashley done put the word on this, yeah.
But what she said, she's speaking the word of God, but that's the truth because we do what we sow, and vengeance does belong to the Lord. So we can't say, "Well, God, I want you to bless me and keep me."
Right, but then
right, and we just put something negative over them. But if God, we crying and on our knees, screaming and hollering. So
we can't sow bitterness and reap blessings.
There you go.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
And I like that.
Y'all so safe.
Miss Charlie just said it does mess with your heart. That's Miss Charlie. That's Jamel Mama. It does mess with your heart. Like, and you have to check your heart. It's a real heart matter.
It is a posture.
It's a posture.
It's a heart posture.
God, that whatever way He handles it is going to be good. Meaning, even if you see that person that cheated on you, broke your heart, did everything, and they end up with a happy marriage, are you gonna be okay with that?
Come on.
Yes.
We gotta be.
And
You got
to
you gotta be.
You
Right?
got
You
to.
gotta be.
yeah, you have
gotta
to
You gotta be.
constantly
You
remind
can't pray for
yourself.
their marriage to fail
Yeah.
because they
Right.
broke your
Right.
heart. No,
Right.
Because that means we're still holding on to it. We gotta
Right.
be.
And you
We
constantly
gotta be.
remind yourself that he don't hold us responsible for how people treat us, but he holds us
Right.
responsible for how we treat
Responsible.
people.
Mhm.
So that always rings. So
Yep.
I'm
listen.
held responsible for what I do to you.
Mhm.
I don't need that.
Listen, we got an Instagram comment. It says, sometimes it's hard for me to forgive because I feel like it belittles the hurt they caused me. But grace doesn't belittle sin, it covers it.
Come on.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's it.
Listen,
Ooh, that's
I
love.
think sometimes we lose sight of what we've done to people. Like
Yeah.
we are focused on this wrong over here.
Right.
But what about the wrong that you've done to other people
Come
and
on.
they still justified
Right.
in
Come
their
on.
bitterness towards you? Like we're not
Listen.
perfect.
When
And we've
I
done
tell
things.
y'all, go ahead, Alexia. Go ahead. Finish. Go ahead
No,
and finish.
we've done things to people and we deserve the same kind of punishment. We deserve the same kind of treatment on
So
another scale.
Yep.
Yeah.
in my session, and it reminded me of, and I shared it in my session, but I will never forget it. One of the ministers at my church, when I say it wasn't her, but it was God, the Holy Spirit talking to me through her, and basically it was like, you mad, but you ain't perfect either.
Come
And the
on.
way she said it, I had to look. I
Girl, you don't know my business. Don't do
was
that.
like, right. But I had to realize,
Don't do
like,
that.
that's
Don't
not
do that.
her
Don't do
talking
that.
to me, but that's God telling me, hey. So, like what y'all just said, we can't be around here mad at this thing and mad what somebody did to us, because you ain't perfect either.
You
That
done
hurt
some stuff, and I covered it for
I
you
ain't
too.
perfect. I'm not perfect. Look, that
Girl.
happened
No,
to me.
no.
What?
Look, the perfect one, we celebrated him today. It was
Come
his day
on.
today.
Say that.
Amen.
That's
Say
what I
that.
was about to say. That's all today is about too.
Yes.
We
Mhm.
celebrated today about him doing exactly what we could not do for
We
ourselves.
could not.
Right.
So
Actually,
I
that's
mean,
good right there.
I
Yes.
don't. Today was the perfect example of if he wanted to be bitter, he didn't have to get up there and take all of that
No,
away from us. But
no.
he chose
No.
to do that, and we're
Right.
supposed to be like him. He could have
No.
wiped us all out, been wiped
That's
us
it.
Yeah.
out from. Oh, you want to act
Yeah.
like that? Okay, say less. So
Right.
we have to remember that, Lord. We have to
Yeah.
remember the cross. Jesus
And
had
he
Yes.
can be like, you want to be bitter? You're gonna be the bitter one.
Right.
right,
Got it.
Me and my
Mhm.
little sister were talking about that this morning, and I was like, because we were talking about like what like God actually went through, and then at church before our pastor spoke today, he showed a clip. Like he literally showed a clip of like the actual implications of what Jesus went through, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, because
It
if
ain't no
God would
way.
No.
have told one of us, you got to get up here and
Ain't
do
no
this,
way.
and you're
No.
like,
Ain't.
who?
No.
For
Not
who?
doing it.
Who
For
said
Not
no?
for
you.
who
You
them.
ain't gonna take
For
me
them.
down.
Who said?
No.
And you remember what they said about me? Yeah, ain't no way. Ain't
Right,
no way.
right.
counting on
Ain't
me,
no
y'all.
way.
I would have been dead.
Huh.
No. Not.
For
No.
real. For real.
Mm-mm.
Because
Y'all
God
better
knows.
get your house in order, cause I'm not going up there. Okay.
Listen, and
For
even when the
real.
man say, "Hey, look, if you are really who
Yes.
you say you are, go ahead and
Get
get
down.
yourself
Come
cleaned
down.
Get
up."
down.
I'm like, first of all, I ain't got to prove nothing to you, but I can get myself down. Let me
But
show you.
I
Right
Let
now.
could.
me show you that
Right
I can
now.
get myself down. And look
Right,
how
Yeah.
pride just rose up.
right.
Instead,
Mhm.
he humbled himself and he didn't have to prove nothing to
To
anybody.
nobody.
I think our healing can also be manifested in our humility. And
Ooh, that's
so,
good.
if we
Oh, that's
are
good.
really moving beyond bitterness, moving beyond all of these things that we have up inside, we can be humble. People gonna say what they want to say.
Right.
And if you are not bitter, you ain't gonna say a mumbling word. And that's
Right.
so hard, y'all. It's so
And
hard when you know you can snap and end the conversation
Oh,
real fast. Like,
oh,
oh, I can destroy this whole conversation real fast. What? Cancel all of this. But then I'd be poisoning so many other people.
mm-hmm.
oh
Mhm.
Jesus.
That be
Listen,
poison. And
Honey,
and
that's a
so
feeling.
women,
You hear me?
as women, we've got to see the power in the tongue. Yes, it's power. We can burn a whole force with just one word, one thing
Real.
that we can say, but we've also got to use that power for good and realize that
Mhm.
yes,
sometimes I don't have to say anything, and that's going
I
to
ain't
show
got
that
to
I'm
say
healed.
Mhm.
right, right.
That's hard. Look,
And
Oh,
it also and it also confuses the enemy because they don't know what side you're on. They don't even know how you feeling, no
Mhm.
nothing. And so I think that's one of the greatest things that I probably could have done for myself was like
mhm.
shut it down.
Shut it down.
Mhm.
mhm,
Shut
It's
it
Yes,
down.
hard. It's
kudos
hard.
to
I
you,
am
Jamel.
trying to
You
learn to use my words
Especially when I
to
first
mhm.
started. I cry when he like shut up or close your mouth. Honey, I just be crying.
mm,
And they be like, you okay? Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
yeah, I'm okay.
Ooh,
And
ooh.
you okay too, because he's got my mouth shut.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
baby,
Okay.
he blessing you
We
real
all okay.
big.
Oh,
Yeah,
Real big.
yeah. So let's talk about this barrenness session.
Ooh.
ooh.
Yes.
So Aisha had barrenness. And what I loved about it was that tree.
Mhm.
So even talking about that adolescent tree, I didn't even picture myself as a tree, but that adolescent tree and then growing into that mature tree and then that other tree, the decaying tree.
Mm.
Mm,
We never want to talk about when it's our time to transition.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I like that. I think it connected it to Friday night sermon
Yes.
because Miriam had to get out of here. Okay. She could not enter the promised land. But what kind of legacy are you leaving the other women that are following in your footsteps?
Mhm.
And so if I know I eventually will be that decaying tree, meaning I'm going to transition out of here, have I planted enough seeds so
Ooh.
that for future generations they can grow in faith? And have I done all that I'm supposed to do? Have I gone through the stages, or was I just stuck at adolescent and now I jumped to decay? I
Ooh.
don't want to go
Mm.
from adolescent to decay.
Right.
I really I really need to be a mature, and I need to enjoy that maturity, and then I'll be ready for the decay.
Hmm.
That's kind of hard. But what do y'all think about leaving a legacy as women?
I'm just gonna speak to this. I think my grandma, she did that.
Okay. She did that.
She did that.
She did that.
And that this past weekend, we were able to see a part of her legacy at Girl
Mm-hmm.
Hurt No More,
Yeah.
based off of all of the things that we did.
Yeah.
We did there, and I think that was the greatest example. And even through everything that we were feeling last week, because it was
It's
rough.
rough.
It
Yeah.
Mm.
was rough
It was rough.
attending. It was rough dealing with all of those things. But I think even in all of that, we were able to see exactly some of those seeds that she planted that
Yeah.
we didn't even know that she was
Yes.
planting.
Come
And
Yes.
on.
we had no ability to try and fight her from planting those seeds, because a lot of times we have that tendency. I don't want to do that. I don't want to carry that on. We had no
Yeah.
say so. And when you see somebody doing the work already, it's a natural reaction for you to continue on doing what they were doing.
Because
Come
Yes.
the
So
on.
mantle done fell on you.
yeah, I
Mhm.
think that
Ooh.
it's a natural thing. When they plant the right seeds, can we talk about that?
Come on.
Hey.
Okay.
A
What do
lot of
you
times,
mean?
even
Mm-hmm.
in the decaying season, there could
Mm-hmm.
be seeds that are planted that are not the right ones, that I don't even want to pick up from that
Yeah.
legacy.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's got to be
Yeah.
a legacy that's worth following.
Come
And
on.
Yes.
some of us leave legacies that ain't worth nothing, and
That's
we don't.
deep.
That's what generational curses come in
Come,
at.
Yeah.
come
Can
on.
we
Mm-hmm.
can we deal with
Say that.
those?
Say that. That's
Mm-hmm.
Like
deep.
the generational curse piece of it. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
thankful that a legacy was left that was worth picking up.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that, because that's another one. Just because it's decaying
Now,
don't mean that it's good.
let's talk about that, because I know in families, no family is perfect. And let's say you have a legacy of maybe even promiscuity. Okay.
Mm.
But that's not the only seed that could be planted. However, sometimes we choose which seeds we
Ooh.
want to plant and
Mm.
water.
Mhm.
So that same person that might have had seeds of promiscuity also had seeds of faith. Like, I am asking God to really help me with this thing. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm struggling over here,
Mm.
but I really
That's
need
it.
God to help me with this. So I got seeds of faith, even though you see my seeds of promiscuity as well. And
Mhm.
then we look back and we say, well, why did my daughter and grandchildren pick up the doggone seeds of promiscuity and not the seeds of faith? I have both. I think sometimes we look at the older women and we tend to pick out which part
Mm.
of their legacy we want to pick up. And I don't think that's fair. Because I think in the course of a woman's life, and not just a woman, a man's life, they're going to have their highs and lows, because that's all a part of their testimony. But
Right.
we can't just connect to one side of them, and then that becomes, we pick up that generational curse.
Mm.
We got to say, no, that's the one, that's the seed I'm not going to grow. I'm
Right
not
now.
going to water that, but I am going to water this one. Let's talk about choosing the right seed.
Yes.
Let,
And
Mm.
let me
let
say
me
this. Let
let
me
me
say this
say
really.
this
Go
about
ahead.
this seed, because you guys know I tell you guys about my mouth, right? I testified that it was on both sides. And my mom had 7 girls and 1 boy. And so, with the sisters, we like to say, like, Trisha came out. And I'm like, and I say to my sisters all the time, which one? The saved one or the
Ooh.
one before that? Because
Come
I
on,
need them
talk
to
about it.
recognize that there was a difference.
Mhm.
So when I'm saying that my mama came out, I need to be conscious of which one of her came out of me. Is
Right.
that good one that gives grace came out, or is that
Okay.
old one that just spilled that hurt on people? But
Mm.
which one came out? And
Mhm.
so it's real that we're
Yep.
being like her, but which one of it
Right.
goes back to that, which one of those seeds are we going to water, because they're both there, and it has to do with our mouth. So
Mm.
life and death is in the power of our tongue. Are we spilling life, or are we spilling death? Which one
Say
is it?
that.
It's what? Two-edged
Mhm.
sword. He talk about it in his
Yeah.
word, but which
Yeah.
one of them you gonna get? Because
Yeah.
she giving us both of them.
Yeah.
When
You
she
choose.
boom, boom, boom. Yeah, we got to choose which one we doing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
We
I think that
choose.
also
And
comes
at
back.
different times.
Yeah. And it also comes back to being transparent,
Mhm.
because you haven't been saved your whole life,
Come
Come
on.
on.
right?
That's real.
So be honest about what life was like for you prior to you being saved, so that
Mm-hmm.
we know exactly what we dealing with.
Come on.
I don't know that you was out here being promiscuous. I don't
Okay.
know that you was out here an alcoholic, because all I've
Okay.
seen is, oh, thank you, Lord. You in the church and all of
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
Okay.
when I'm going through this, I'm trying to figure out where this come from. Oh, that
Oh.
wasn't me. But was it really not you?
Mm.
Oh.
Ooh.
Was that really not
Oh
from
Mm.
no,
you?
I've been saved all my life now.
Right.
Look.
So we have
All my
to
life.
be, and that's one thing I'm gonna tell you that I love, that the older generation was there with us. Can I say
Yes.
that? I
Yes.
love that
Yes.
Yes.
the seasoned
Yes.
ladies were in the building,
Yes.
baby. And
Yes.
they held
Mm.
their own, and they were honest. And
They
I
were
thank
honest.
Mhm.
God for that, because we were able to see, like, the transparency, what we just talked about. They were very
Right.
transparent in every activity that I was with.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
guess we'll go to the next activity, but the one that my mom had, that
Yeah.
was,
Mhm.
they got real, really real inside of there. Like, they
Mhm.
got really real. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah.
so we were able to
Listen.
see that. And that's one thing I love about my nanny, in her 92 years. She 92 years old, baby. And
Mm.
one thing she is honest. She ain't gonna lie to us about nothing that she did in her past.
But
She
that's
ain't
wisdom.
ashamed of it.
That
She
is.
gonna tell us, hey, yeah, that was me. And we've overcome by grace, but we have to be honest and transparent so that our legacy is one that our kids know. I gotta keep it a buck with you. Yes, ma'am. I used to like. I think Jamel talked about this too. Yeah, I was in the club. My friends said go.
I will say this testimony though, honestly, and I shared this with somebody. I was telling my church friends about this, like as I was getting ready to prepare the message. But I was like, Uni was like A1 day one, right? But what I will say now, honestly, Monday through Saturday, we was out partying, had a different outfit every night because we weren't gonna repeat. Honey, we was gonna look good to a T. But every Sunday, because she was my roommate, she was at the door. Hey man, wake up, let's go. Let's go.
Hey.
We going to church.
My grandma said you got to give the Lord a day. You got to give the Lord a day. You got to give the Lord a day. You can't be out.
Right.
It's
You
that
can't
wake
be
up.
out.
She was like,
come
Yeah,
let's
go.
come home at 3 o'clock.
In church with a hangover, but we
Oh
was going to church.
We was there.
That's the
Head hurting. Oh, it's so loud. It's so
Right,
loud.
so y'all
It's
turn
so
the
loud.
music
Thank
down
you.
some, but we was there. We was there.
But that seed was planted. That seed was planted, and
That's
we
true.
knew. So it's
We
like
knew.
as we went through, because honestly, once I left Tallahassee, that was it for me. Like once like that phase, I was like, I really ain't gotta go to the club no more for real. I still partied a little bit, but it was already set in stone. You can go party, but I'ma still call you back. I'ma always call you back
Yes,
home.
right.
You need to report back home.
Yeah.
I need you in the house. So
That's true.
That's true.
That is
Listen,
so true.
I think, and all of us on here are, millennials. I think that what the millennial generation needs is that transparency and honesty. Because we grew up in the church, we know church, we know it. Whether your grandmama made you go, she didn't go, or like my grandma, she didn't go, but she loaded all of us up in that church van when we was at her house, and we all went to the church, and we came home, and she had food fixed or whatever. But I think we are asking the older generation to be real with us, because now we are at the age where we're raising the next generation, and we are being real with them. Like I think all of us are real with the children that we influence, and we'll tell them our testimony. But now we are asking our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties, our mentors, be real with me. And I think that it's easier to be real when you have overcome and addressed.
Come on.
If you have not addressed bitterness, barrenness, stagnation, complacency in your own life, it is very hard to be real with this millennial generation. Because why we don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about who that person daddy is. We don't need to talk about why I did what I did. We don't need to talk. You grown now, get past that. And we're like, no, we need answers.
Yes,
we need answers, because
That's
we're gonna
right.
tell this next generation so
That's
that they
right.
don't keep making the same mistakes we made.
That's right.
And I think this generation shares a lot more, and we all feel like, oh, y'all tell too much, but maybe we haven't shared enough. And they, share absolutely everything. But then I think the generation before didn't share enough of, how they've got over. You have this
That's it.
30-year marriage. Tell me about years 5 through 10.
Oh, baby.
I
need to
1
know.
through 5, honey, please.
Because there was a time when y'all didn't even sleep in the same room, and I remember that. Like, tell me about that. How did you get through that piece?
Can we do that? Can we?
Yeah.
That's what we are really asking for. Like, tell me the moments that you didn't like him.
That part.
Tell me how you decided to stay until such and such got a certain age because you were trying to keep the household together. Tell me how you were able to do that. Tell me how you didn't have a headache every single night. I need to know.
Tell me how you raised his other kids.
You know
Grandma
what I
T.
mean? What you say? Tell me what?
How you raised his other kids, Grandma T.
How you let the other kids? Because I found out that weren't my real brother. Like, but he was in the house with me the whole time. How did you
Listen,
get? How were you able to do that?
her
It's
grandmama
real.
at the eulogy, Pastor
It's
shared it.
real.
She raised how many other kids? At least two. One or
So
two?
my granddaddy, the one that he had my
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Derek
Okay,
while
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That
he
wasn't her child.
it wasn't her child. She
Mm-mm.
raised him from literally from birth.
Cause we're not
The
doing
other
that now.
woman's child. Do you hear me?
Cause we don't.
We laughed about it all the time. She was very open and honest about
Yep.
it. I remember sitting on the porch with her one day. I said, "Baby, that's the grace that God gave you."
Come
What
on.
you say?
Come
For
on.
me, as for me in my house, he ain't graced me for that. And
Or
she
did
would
he?
laugh and she would say, "It take a special kind," and it
It
did.
does. It
Does.
does.
But that's the
It does.
honesty that
That's
we
it.
need and we know. Like,
It.
no, baby, not here. Cause
That's it.
where y'all finna go?
But I like that we can have these. We have women that we can have these conversations with,
Patience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
because that is how we overcome hurt. If you don't tell me how it hurt you to have your husband step out on you, and not only just step out on you, have a baby, and then bring the baby to your doorstep and ask you to raise the baby, listen, I'm hurt for you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
And
ready
so
to
I
fight
need
for
to know.
you.
I'm ready to tear off in somebody behind. So
Baby,
how
that generation was strong. SKR
that's
was
what I need
strong.
to know. How y'all got that strong? Cause baby, I'm
You got it.
who
We got it too.
I feel like Ashley. I ain't grace for that. I'm
I
telling
ain't
you.
grace for it. I ain't even grace for
I'm
it.
not
I
even
You
ain't.
don't
I
know
ain't
until
gonna
it
tell you
hit
Grace
you.
why.
You
for
don't know
it.
until it comes.
You know what I can tell. You know what I can
Baby,
tell.
it's a
Hey.
different kind of. I'm sorry, he know me. This go back to what we talked about on the previous podcast. See, the Lord, he always say that he won't put more on us than we can bear. He would not put that on me because he know I couldn't bear it. So I'm not even concerned. You hear me? So you got to know God and how to use the word. He knew
This
that
girl's
my
my
grandma.
Say that.
He knew my grandma could bear that. He
Yeah.
knew that she was
Yeah.
raised for such a time as that. And I know it
Yeah.
was hard. I know
Yeah.
it was rough.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to live. She literally lived with seeing
Mm-hmm.
his mistake. Nothing that I
Mm-hmm.
did. She did that
Yeah.
daily. And she raised him.
Mm-hmm.
And you would have never been able to tell that
Uh-huh.
he did not come from her womb.
No,
You would have
Exactly.
never been able
I
to
thought
tell
that
that.
was they real sibling. Like
Never
not
been
real,
able
but
to
you know
tell
what I
that.
mean. Same
Right.
mama, same daddy.
Yeah,
Yep.
you would have never been able to tell that, and I dare one of us to say that it was not, because now we in trouble. But
Okay.
baby,
But see, we not there. I will say this, and I'm saying I'm gonna say me. I'm not there yet, and that's what I'm asking God to help me, because I would still be bitter about that. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
I would bring that up. I know I would. God would have to really work on me. I would bring that up every time I look, and that child probably look just like his daddy. Every time I look at that child, I would be like, you know what? See, and I'm still doing this for your child. You know, it would take God helping me with my language, with
yeah,
Oh
all of
yeah.
these things, my
Oh
thoughts.
yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
and so that's why we have to have the older women
Yeah.
really help us. You know,
yes,
help us, please, so that we can move forward.
Cause
We
they were
want
built all the way different. They was built way different.
more tough. Listen.
Listen.
Forward tough. I love
Forward
it.
tough,
Forward
because
tough.
I do feel I feel we are stronger, but it also says that we are weaker. The Bible talks about it. So in one area we are
Ooh.
wiser and stronger, but we are weaker as well. And so that's where we have to make sure we are helping the next generation of a woman be stronger than we were. And the only way we're going to do that is we have open and honest conversations. And I agree. That is what came out in all 4 sessions.
Yes.
All 4. We had women. Listen, in that complacency one, when we had to cast our nets into the deep.
Baby,
and
she had me all the way in tears. I'm just like, Lord, just whatever
I
you
know
need
that's
to
right.
do. Just yes.
Listen, some of them, she told them, get your net, pick it up again. That ain't deep enough. I said, oh, Lord. She said, pick it up, throw it again, toss it again. Because God, and she told me, I had multiple nets. She told me, toss another one and toss another one. And so I said, oh, Lord Jesus. She said, because God has got a calling on your life. Toss another net. Toss it.
Come on, God.
I need to know.
Come
Think
on,
about
God.
these women that trailblaze for us, the Coretta Scott Kings. You know, like these famous women, how did they keep the faith in spite of all of the things that they were going through and keep casting nets into the deep?
Jesus.
Come on.
How do you keep doing that?
You got to stay on your face, honey. You hear me?
For real.
And that's literally what her thing was about, was that we have to get to a place of prayer, right?
Yep.
We have to get to a place where we only want to seek after what he wants for us. And I think through all of that, he speaks to us, and it changes your desire. The things that you desire, it becomes differently, because I only want what you want from me. And for me, the only way for me to be able to get what you're giving is for me to desire the things of the kingdom. It says, seek ye first, right? I gotta come to the kingdom first, and everything else you'll add to me. But it start with seeking that kingdom, like you said, and on your face. But listen, the way we had to throw them nets, and then you had to deal with on paper. You had to see what it is that you was complacent about. Like, that's what you're thinking. Cause Lord, wait a minute. Let me think about these. Like, what am I really getting rid of? What am I really throwing into the water? That's me putting it in your hands. What am I really putting back in your hands and taking my hands off of, for you to be able to give to me what you want me to have? Baby,
what's so good about it is I like the fact that we had to acknowledge it. And then when we threw it in, like he told us, we done tore all night long. Just like them, just like they did. We tore all night long. And then at his direction and hers, cast your net over here.
Cast your net.
Come on now, cast your net, and what you pull it back in. Like I was trying to break that thing down to my husband, and I was like, listen, I had to put that thing in there and then pull it back. I had to do the work.
You had to expect that something was gonna come back.
Come on.
Okay.
That's another whole level, right? I can cast, but do I expect God to give me back?
Come on.
A whole bunch of different things. Like I always tell people, what the Lord is dealing with me in this season is I have faith that God is going to do some great and mighty things for the women of God. And I will tell you those things he's going to do for you. When I turn that mirror on myself, sometimes I don't have, I think he can do it. I know he can do it, but will he do it for me? Or will he do it big for me? I mean, you know, and so that's the thing. When I cast, I had to literally say, and God, I expect you to do exceedingly and abundantly above all that I can ask or even think. Right. I had to add that to it and then expect that. That's why I said my 2 words are I'm in expectation. I am expecting God to do something
exactly
great.
What he said he was going to do.
I know that's right. That's why I said confirmation, because he was just giving me confirmation of the things we're asking for. And I'm putting it over here and I'm making sure that when I pull that net back from out the deep, that these are the things that we receiving. Because I expect you to do this for me, God.
Yeah.
I'm expecting this. You just confirmed it, God. So I'm in anticipation, as Humany said, Pastor Humany said, I'm in anticipation for this thing to come back to me. Oh, come on.
Say that.
Listen, the last thing, and I know we're getting down to the wire. We're about to close soon. The last thing is Saturday night healing gala. And I know many women had to go home or they had other obligations and they might not could have made it. The women that came, I know it was an experience. I just loved how the women felt so beautiful and how they looked so beautiful.
That was beautiful. I saw the pictures, but y'all look good. That was beautiful.
I love it. Look, Ashley said, "Don't go." I know, Ash. I know.
And you slip. You think you sleep, but we gonna go. I'm gonna let you finish, but then we gonna go back. Yeah, that's why you laughing. We coming out of that in 2024.
Okay,
you're right, sis. You're right.
Don't make me act up, please.
You're gonna call me out on my stuff. Okay. Yeah. But I'm gonna finish here. So the healing gala, that is one of the things I love, and I get so excited when I'm asking God, Lord, what woman are you going to acknowledge and honor this time, Lord? And I just love the women that he said, not that all the women shouldn't, and all the women did get something. And so if you weren't there, I still have your healing water certificate. I have You're walking across the water certificate. And when I see you, I will try to give it to you. So all the women ended up getting something, but for the ones that got like the trophies and the purpose partners things, it was like the Lord kept saying, I'm dealing with this woman in this season doing this thing, and I want it publicly acknowledged. And so I don't know what he's doing, but like Miss Tina was one. She received the Healing Heart Award. And then Nelly got the Faith Entrepreneur Award, which is a new award because he's doing a entrepreneur faith thing in me. And he highlighted, look what I'm doing in her also.
That's good.
And so we acknowledged her. And then it's not the Trailblazer Award anymore. It's the Elder Mildred T. Cornelius Lewis Trailblazer Award. Gave it to Minister May Farley because she's going to be carrying the torch. And I don't know all the stuff that God is about to do, but I know he gave me these women to acknowledge. And then even the purpose partners, to see their faces, that they were so shocked that they were purpose partners. Now you've been purpose to partner with us in moving this ministry. And so that went to Pastor Cassandra Carlton, Pamela Office, April Whitehurst, and Alexia Robinson. All of them became purpose partners. And so it was just beautiful to see the bonding of women, the culminating activity, even them on the 360 and taking pictures and just having a beautiful night of sisterhood. And then us even dancing in the end and letting our hair down. I love all parts of that. And so we're going to try to continue that next year as well.
Ashley, and what about that end though? I was telling my husband about that Dee had kind of got up and started kind of cleaning like one of the empty tables, and it looked like everybody kicked their shoes off and they went to work. Like we still were bonding.
Like, I got you, sis.
You have to do this by yourself.
No, I got you, sis.
That was a rough time. That was a rough time. Nobody even knew that. That was a rough time for us because that was who she was, right?
Yep.
And like I said, those were the seeds that she planted. Yep. And so everybody, you can tell that was connected. They got up and they just, did what we would normally do. So yeah, we had a rough time setting that building up too, y'all. That was rough, but I'm glad that it was pulled together and it looked so good in there. It looked so good in there. So that was all good. So yeah, I enjoyed Saturday night being able to finally get taking a breath, right? Like just a relief. And I feel like Thursday, well not Thursday, but Friday and Saturday were kind of heavy. We dealt with some heavy. So people were able to just kind of like sigh a little bit, like, a breath of like fresh air, and to really let your hair down and, get all dressed up. So that was really fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. All right, Ashley, go ahead.
No, don't do that because you skipped all past Friday night where you just, you did your big one.
Yeah, baby, that was powerful.
Yeah, and then we got out of church and I was looking like, wait a minute, we've been in here for a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't even rush the spirit. We just let him do
it. Took over. Like y'all told them people church up.
Okay. It still don't went to Saturday because Jamel tried to go past it, and the Holy Spirit pricked me. Right, don't throw that away.
Y'all told them people church up on Friday night.
So did.
Listen, from the praise and worship to the scripture reading, I told Pastor Carlton she could always read the scripture for me because she gonna get it hype, she gonna get it crunk. And she kept looking at me like, is it okay if I go? I'm like, go, sis, go. Go, sis, go. And she went and listen, in the praise and worship, it was just saturated in there. It was so good. And then the praise break at the very end. Like,
come on.
I can't. That's why I didn't want to talk about it, Ash. You had to be there. Like, you just had to be there. And there's a reason why we were going to stream live. But Nasir came to me and said, Mom, something wrong with the cameras, something with the front cameras. And it's not. I said, listen, that's the Lord. We moving on. We're not worried about going live.
That's right.
We're moving on. Let's go. And so it had to be God saying, whoever is in the building needs to be in the building, period.
Come on.
And so that was something. Like Ashley said, the glory was there. It was
definitely.
We tapped in and we
Yep, you
came to
tapped
get
in.
what we
If
have
you
been
tapped
praying for.
in, you got what you came for.
That's
If
it.
you
If
and you
you
said it,
tapped
if you
in.
tapped in, because there's no way that you could have left
Mm.
out of
At
there
all.
without grabbing something and
Yeah.
feeling something inside.
Yeah.
Let me tell
Mm.
you how
Yeah.
I know. I was so tired. Like I feel
Mm.
like it was so heavy on me. Friday morning, I came in and it was just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
listening to all of the things that were happening. And I was like, Lord, I gotta go and minister on it. That was hard to follow, right?
Mm.
And then you had the nerve to allow Pastor Cofield to get up there and do her big one, right? Right
Ashley was
after
like, we
and
can't
you wanted
follow this.
me to follow behind that. And
Listen,
then
you did. And you
And you
at
did.
the
did. And you
end,
did.
I'm like, okay, y'all can have it. Because at this point, I'm done. Like, do whatever you want to do, Lord. I'm done. I'm tired.
No,
Okay.
You
no,
got it. I
no.
walked
The
out of
Lord
there.
said, we're not done.
I was
And
so
you
Mm-mm.
did
tired.
it.
On
And you
Saturday,
did it.
on Saturday morning, my eyes were so heavy. I was like, Lord Jesus. It was something that we had to get off of us.
But it was a
But
good,
It was
it
a
was a
good one.
good tired. You know
it
what I'm
It
saying?
was.
Like,
was.
It was a
good
sigh of
tired.
relief. Like, Lord, thank you. Because
Yes.
like she said, we have been praying for that. And I
Yes.
told
Mm.
you, I
Yes.
said the worship that we got, we have to release. Like
Yes.
we had to
Yeah.
release that. And
Yeah.
I felt like we all needed it. It wasn't
Yep.
just for us. We all needed it.
Oh,
Yes.
what you
Yes.
say?
Yes. 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 Ashley's
I
giving
know
you
that's right.
compliments, Ashley. I
Oh,
loved it. Listen,
thank you.
as we get ready to close, listen, so many women have said, I know this can't be it. I can't wait for another year to come, and then we piggyback. Da, 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 da. I got it. So I've been hearing it loud and clear. Look, they've been in my inbox. When they see me, they say something. So we got you. We got you. So what we're planning is locally in Polk County. Let me back up. We're having a steering committee. I'm not even going to say the city. We're having a steering committee meeting tomorrow. And we're going to take Girl Hurt No More to another city.
Come on.
You
We're gonna
better do it too.
We're
Come
gonna
on.
try
You
to
better
ask
do it.
God how we can replicate that amazing thing He did. But we've got a church now that wants us to come to them. And so the Lord had already showed us that we're gonna jump regions. Okay, this thing gonna be like wildfire. You
When
know,
you
I know
said
that's right.
let me
We,
see. Let me see what you
we,
talking about.
we
high point to you.
You see me cutting
You
up jail.
you right there with her. Yes.
We,
Yes,
right.
Ashley. Yes, Ashley. Yes.
we
It's
hey,
sweet.
make sure I'm
we
pointing her the correct
I
way.
know I ain't by myself. So whoever we is,
We got
we
look. What I'm supposed to say? We
We
got
got
you.
you, sis.
Oh,
We got you, sis.
we got
whoever
you.
we
Sis.
is going to,
Hashtag.
I know God ain't calling me to do it by myself. So whoever we is willing is gonna be right there. And so we got a meeting tomorrow.
Ashley, you
With
see Ashley reminding you.
these leaders. With these leaders, I gotta talk to Ashley separate because she's gonna be like, "Cause sis, what is happening?" Okay, but we got a meeting with these leaders tomorrow so that we can discuss taking it to another city. And I'm praying that God is going to unlock other doors where we
Amen.
can take this city to
Amen.
city, and God is going to do something amazing. So that's one thing God is going to do. Another thing is we're going to plan a meetup.
Hey, fix your camera.
I want y'all to
No.
see it.
She going
Oh,
places.
she's
Say
go-
that. Say that.
She's
Say
going.
that. Payment secret. Yes.
This
Receive
is
it.
only the beginning. Only the beginning. And so we are going, we're going to do a sister to sister meetup April 21st. It's a Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. at Bonnet Springs Park in Lakeland, Florida. It's going to be like a picnic, but we're going to go through doing some work together. And it's going to be very informal, but we're going to do some sisterly work together so that we can keep working through the things. And whoever meets up with us, that's who meets up with us. But we still are going to have a wonderful time. And so we're going to try to have workshops throughout the year so that we can keep doing the work. And then next year, God is going to give us a whole new theme, a whole new place to go. And it's going to be amazing.
I don't know if you've been looking at your comments, but a lot of people were like, not tonight, but just on the whole event, they were like, let me know about next year. When it's going to be, Lumini.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people. Yeah. Come on,
So
Pastor B.
God is gonna do some big things, and so we're just open, and willing. Hey, if you're in a region
Those who
and you're like
willing,
that, those who are willing, if you're
because
in a
he
region and
shifted
you're
that.
like, bring it to my region, hey, reach out to us,
Mm.
and we'll set up a steering committee for your region, and we will bring that thing over there because you want to be a part of this, sis. You want to be a part of this move of God because it's only gonna get bigger because it's all about Him.
Ooh,
He's
bigger.
getting the glory out of it. So
More.
that is our girl talk book talk tonight. I'm so sorry, Ash. I know Ash was like, no, don't go. But we gotta go. These children gotta get ready for school tomorrow. And some of us gotta get ready for work early in the morning. I want to thank all of you. I know Lex had to jump off, but I want to thank you all so much. Ashley, thank you. She's the one that was like, sis, we got to have a recap very soon. And so, Ashley, thank you so much for prompting me to do this because I'll stay in my little shell if you let me. I will stay right in my little shell, hiding behind things. And she was like, no, we got to do this. So thank you. I love you. Jamel, Aisha, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Alexia, I know she's off, but thank you so much for having this lively conversation. And hey, y'all in this chat and those that will watch the replay, please share it. I know it's an hour and a half long, but they're going to be blessed by it. Just hit the share button. They'll be blessed by it. And so y'all just keep looking, follow the page, the Girl Hurt No More page. You can even follow my page, follow the YouTube, subscribe to it, follow the Instagram, whatever avenues, so that you can always be in the know of what's going on. Girl Hurt No More even has a Facebook page. Be in the know. You don't want to miss anything. So we love y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Last words, anything y'all want to say before we close out, ladies?
Well, I just want to say, listen, I have really thoroughly enjoyed just this whole process. And I enjoyed meeting you all. Like, my prayers are still with you all because I know God's going to take y'all to even higher places. Just keep being obedient. But I feel like I got like another layer of friends or whatnot. But I really enjoyed y'all.
I told my husband that when I left out of your session, I said, "Oh, she could be my bestie," because I said, she is just like me. Do you hear me? Yes, I got a new bestie.
Why do you think we get along, Ashley?
Yeah.
Okay. But she always the one too to be like, tell you the truth. Like, no, ma'am, it's not. That's not it. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. So that's good. I love that for us.
Ashley, Aisha, any final thoughts?
No, I just want to say that I'm so excited for everything that God is gonna do through you and through everything that you have going. And it's just I'm just here. I'm just here. So I'm here for the ride.
I'm just saying thank you. Thank you a million times.
Our amazing women of God. Oh, thank you.
I know, right? Just for allowing us to be a part of what you're doing. Absolutely grateful. And I got you, sis. Whatever you need me.
I got you.
Right.
I love that. I love that. That is our new phrase, y'all. So we love y'all, women of God. We love y'all. Be blessed. Remember, we are past it. No more complacency, no more stagnation, no more bitterness, and no more barrenness. We are moving through God's healing waters. And so until we talk again, y'all, I love y'all, and ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Y'all be blessed and stay safe. Have a beautiful week.
Good night.